still potentially the optics of
I would agree with you,
bottom.
especially like the third round. Say Jesse won the third round. I thought I was pretty confident he won the third round. But the other times that he was rushing was because he knocked him down. You know,
Right.
It wasn't off of a bad shot. It was because of work Sean did. Put him down, tried to get the finish, put himself in maybe a bad position and got taken down. But it was off of him knocking him down, which I think should weigh heavier than, a guy controlling you on the ground. Or even if I don't think that it should weigh heavier, that's what we've been told, is that damage is going to outweigh control.
Correct.
Trust me, I'm a wrestler. I come from a wrestling background. There's nothing I like more than being able to control someone and get a win. That's part of my game. But that's just not the way they're scoring it lately, or that's what they've told us. That's not how they're going to score it. So,
well, scoring is
a
supposed
show like
to be
that is
based
kind
off
of confusing.
of the 3 Ds, right?
Yeah.
Damage, duration, and dominance.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think dominated that fight?
I mean,
if you look at him after the fight, not that the eye test is like a guaranteed thing, but I'm just saying, if you look at him after the fight,
I'm in agreement with you. That one has me scratching my head right there. But now we are on to our next bout of the evening. We have a matchup between a couple of guys who are definitely going to go in there and put on a show for you fans watching at home. Both guys are coming off of very, very tough losses and are hungry to get their hands raised tonight. We have Conor Leigh, who is going to be taking on Darius Murchison. Conor Leigh is a multiple-time vet of the Colorado Combat Club cage. He's got a knockout win for us, and in his last fight, he faced a very tough prospect in Samuel Henriquez, and Samuel was on the better side of that contest. But one thing that we know about Conor Leigh is he always shows up and he's ready to fight. One thing about his opponent, who has been training as of his last couple of camps with Gil Smith down there at Victory in Colorado Springs, that is Darius Murchison. He's coming out and he's ready to uncork some bombs too. He last fought for us a few months back at the end of last year against Trey Zupancic, who is also on the card this evening. And he was winning that fight and then ended up getting caught in the third. And sometimes, as we mentioned earlier in this fight card, the momentum can shift that fast in this fight game. And that was the tale of that fight. But we're going to see him come out here tonight, and these boys are going to get after it.
Yeah, like you said, Jordan, I remember watching him fight in that last fight, and he was doing so well. That's just the pitfall of this game. Sometimes, everything's going your way, and at a drop of a hat, something changes, momentum swings, an opportunity arises, and someone capitalizes. And that's just what you got to chalk it up as, especially as an amateur when you're out here learning with these fights. You can't hang your head, got to get back to the drawing board, which I'm sure he did. And he gets another opportunity, another chance, and here he is.
Certainly. He's being cornered tonight by the former RFA World Champion and Ultimate Fighter veteran Gilbert Smith, as well as former Colorado Combat Club champion and now professional veteran Elijah Swift Smith, and was accompanied by our main event, Carlos Rivera. Folks, we've got a great main card on deck for you. We have a couple of matchups in the pro ranks. We have Anthony Valenzuela taking on Carlos Rivera in that main event. It's going to be a matchup that you are not going to want to miss. Also on deck, we've got a veteran from the Colorado Combat Club cage, Carlos Valadez, in the co-main event. He's going to be taking on Ozzy Chavez.
It is brought to you by that fantastically fresh Josh Fred. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the Biggs Beat Wagon Blue Corner. He weighed in at already 150 pounds on the top. He comes with a record of 1 win and only 1 defeat. He comes to us all the way from Avon, Colorado, representing Hybrid Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Conor Leigh! And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at already 150.8 pounds. He comes to us with a record of 1 win and 2 defeats. He comes to us, by the way, Victory MMA from Colorado Springs. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. Darius Murchison! Third man in the cage, Mr. Yoel Ojeda.
Third man drawing the assignment for this bantamweight bout in the elimination ranks is the bearded referee, Yoel Ojeda. We've got Conor Leigh rocking the gray trunks and Darius Murchison rocking the card print trunks.
Gotta be specific. That's Kings.
My boy Conor's getting close to DC territory.
Good front kick by Darius starting out.
Both fighters trading a little bit, just offering, gathering some intel to start. No one's landed really anything of note so far in these first 15 seconds. Catch on the kick by Conor Leigh drives the back of Darius Murchison up against the fence.
Darius takes the back.
Yeah, and that was a mistake on the positioning for Conor Leigh when he was trying to attack that single leg that gave up his back, especially against a guy who's extremely long the way that Darius is.
Yeah. I think it was more of intimidation that made Conor get in close quarters to grab him. I don't think he liked being on the outside.
Darius working on the backpack. He has one arm in tight for the choke.
And
Conor looking to punch, and instead of fighting that top arm, and we have
Conor disputes it.
Conor is disputing it.
I mean, he wasn't even fighting the hands. Oh, with athleticism.
You know, they tell you, the ref tells you in the back, you got to show that you're still there.
Show that you're
you
still
got to
there.
give him a thumbs up. You got to let him know you're still there. It looked like he was out. I guess he wasn't, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he might not have been out, but in the elimination ranks, the referees are always going to err on the side of safety and caution for the fighters.
Yeah.
Especially in that instance, he was, instead of fighting the top hand, he tried to throw a couple of punches, and then his hands just kind of went down.
Yeah, there
Didn't
was
go
no
limp, but they just went down, and there was no more action, and his eyes were just wide. So it's not unreasonable for Yoel Ojeda to have thought that, hey, you know what? This is done.
This is done. And it kind of looked like the door was shut.
And, it did almost to a certain extent after those punches didn't really work, that he kind of conceded that he was just, hey, you know what? Then I'm just going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And before he went completely out, Yoel stopped it.
Yeah, and that is good on Yoel because, like you said, these are the amateur ranks, these are elimination ranks. There's no reason to go ahead and go to sleep here. He was obviously disputing it, but good stoppage.
And, I understand the fighter perspective of, let me go out on my shield, but at the same time, that's why that third man is there, is to protect you from those instances like that, especially in an elimination fight where you're not getting paid tonight, my friend.
No,
It's a different story when you're in a position, say like yourself or anybody that's in the UFC, Bellator 1, someone who's on a bigger platform, fighting for much bigger stakes and a much higher pay.